This weekend, UFC Gamrot versus Klein. Blanchfield versus Barber goes down, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts about this card. I haven't really, no notes. I haven't really thought about what my picks are. We're just gonna go fight to fight and talk about them. Starting off with, scroll down, Rayan dos Santos versus Alice Ardeline. This is disgraceful, in my opinion. You've got a girl who's 14-8 versus a girl who is 9-7. For some of these fights, I'm not going to go too in depth because I don't care about a fight where the ladies' combined record is 23-15. I don't know. Rayan dos Santos, she's got more losses. She's also got more wins though. 0-2 in the UFC isn't great. Lost to someone I've never heard of. Lost to Pujatoma. Lost in the contender set. All she does is lose as it pertains to UFC fights, as far as it looks. 0-2 also for Alice Ardeline against Shauna Bannon and Melissa Martinez. Okay. This is tough. Where else have they fought? Okay, and go back to Rayan dos Santos. I'm going to go with Rayan dos Santos. I think the experience is going to help her out here. She just has more fights. She's 29. The other woman is how old? 33. Yeah, she's got youth. She's got experience also. So I think she's going to win a boring decision, most likely. Balaji Oki versus Michael Aswell. For these, I know Aswell's taking this on short notice. Oki, I know he fought someone with a weird name. Timmy Kawun, but yeah, he won that, and he lost to Chris Duncan. Look, losing to Chris Duncan at this point isn't terrible when you see what Duncan did to Vucenic, though how good is Vucenic, I suppose. A couple of cancelled fights here. What's Michael Aswell looking like? Go on to here. Okay, well, he's fought pretty much just in one promotion. That's kind of concerning. Lost in the Contender Series to Bogdan Grad. What do I think? This is a weird one. A high level of competition has been fought. That was a weird way of phrasing that. By Balaji Oki. I'll go with him by late round stoppage. We'll say TKO. Again, I'm not going fully over these earlier fights because I don't particularly care. Andreas Gustafsson versus Trevin Giles. Giles has been in the UFC for ages at this point. And he just keeps on getting knocked out. Like, he fights a bunch of competent fighters. Like, you see who he's lost to. He's lost to Dricus du Plessis, Michael Morales, Prates, and then I suppose you could put him a lot around where Prates is, and then Bonfim, who's gone on to lose since. But he just keeps on getting just finished by these guys. And Gustafsson here. You look at him, he's going out there, 8 wins by TKO. Contender Series highlighted someone. I think probably this is just going to be an early, maybe not early, maybe second round KO TKO for Andreas Gustafsson. Trevin might look good, but then he'll just do what he always does and not really perform. He just gets chinned out of nowhere. Jordan Levitt versus Kurt Holobar. Holobar's he's on his 3rd run in the UFC, won the Ultimate Fighter against Austin Hubbard. He's looking alright. Probably got robbed in his last fight versus Hernandez. Versus Jordan Levitt, who is just goofy. Striking, not great. Grappling, he's a wrestler. Lost to Hooper and Pimlet, not bad losses. Lost to Claudio Puelles. That's a terrible loss. You should not lose to Claudio Puelles. I can't say Claudio. I'm going to go with Kurt Holobar. I think that Levitt striking is so bad, and I think that Kurt Holobar can keep it gritty. Even if he gets taken down, I don't think Jordan's going to finish him. So I think he'll have, enough grit and determination to probably just get him through, and he'll win by decision or late rounds TKO. Alan Nascimento versus Jafal Fieldhoe. This one's more interesting because they're both jiu-jitsu savants. Both very interesting. One more unorthodox, one slightly more, what's the word? Not original. Like, he keeps on the path. He's fundamental. There we go. I think I think Alan Escamento will probably win just based on how consistent his style is compared to Fialho, who's going for like a bunch of goofy submissions. And he almost submitted Makayev, but then, Makayev didn't tap and then, went to the scorecards and he won. Did it go to the scorecards or did he get finished? I'm forgetting. He got finished by Makayev in that fight. Yeah, which not a great look. But he's won 2 in a row since then. But against who? Daniel Perez and Odie Osborne. Better Merrill Barzi in a grappling match though, which that's good. Whereas I forgot to delete the tab. Alan Nascimento, he hasn't fought in ages, and he beat Jake Hadley, good one, and Carlos. Yeah, I think just based on competition, Tigero Limberkov for Helium Piver back in the day, I think Alan Nascimento, his type of jiu-jitsu is going to be superior. He could get caught, but I don't think so. I think he's too fundamental, and I think he's fought better guys. Zach Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. I remember when Dusko Todorovic was undefeated, and then Punahele Soriano clubbed him and knocked him out. That was a while ago, and he's lost 5 times since then. 1 by decision, 4 technically by TKO, but one of them was Chris Duncan, where he fought him and just blew his knee out in like half a minute. Zach Reese has power. He's not like the best fighter. Like you see, he got beaten by the GOAT Azamat Bakayev in his last fight, and Bakayev's debut, and he lost to Brundage, which is but he got slammed, which I don't want to call that a fluke for Brundage, because, it's taking away Brundage's only good one in the UFC. But, poor Brundage. I feel like if you play that fight out 10 times out of 10, I don't think Reese necessarily wins it 10 times out of 10, but I don't think he gets slammed. Like, I reckon that's a pretty unlikely thing to happen. He looks really good against these guys. These lower level guys does Reese, and I think Todorovic, while he's not necessarily low level, he's skills wise, his chin is always going to keep him from being even really close to ranked, and I think that Zach Reese probably knocks him out pretty fast. It'd be pretty brutal. Ketlen Vieira versus Macy Chasson. This is interesting enough. Vieira gave Harrison a tough time, which, that's impressive. Versus what Macy Chasson has done recently. She fought Irene Aldana and got liver kicked, right? What's she done since then? Penny Chianzetta, Maribueno Silva. Stop by cut. I think Maribueno Silva isn't really as good as a lot of people, including myself, were hyping her up to be. She had that win over Holly Holm, who was aging at the time, the ninja choke. It's a tough one. Ketlen Vieira's been at not the top, but around that top 5 for like a long time in the UFC. And you look at the people that she's losing to, maybe minus Yana Santos, but she's losing to Irene Aldana, who, was a staple of that top sort of, the top of that division for a while. Raquel Pennington, former champion. Kayla Harrison, person who's challenging for the title next. Whereas Macy Chasson, she also has a loss to... she also lost to Aldana and Pennington, and then Lena Landsberg back in the day, but ages ago. Okay. I know I'm saying this a lot, but based on the experience of Vieira, assuming she isn't too old, Chasson's 33 though, but also 33. Yeah, age is the same, level of competition, or level of loss is the same, but I think Ketlen's experience at the top, sort of holding that spot, is going to probably push her through, and she'll win a boring decision, though I could be wrong on that one. It's a pretty close fight, in my opinion. Then you have Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. Dustin Jacoby's kind of gotten screwed over in his UFC career a little bit. He should have won against Roundtree. Mirzakhanov, tough. He lost. He got dropped a bunch. Bet Kennedy. The Alonzo Field was rough. And then the Reyes fight. But he knocked out Vitor Petrino like Usman knocked out Masvidal. And it was beautiful. That was a beautiful thing to behold. Bruno Lopez, though, looking at him and his career, he's obviously a prospect. He's only lost to one guy who I think, Brinson Ribeiro, which is a really weird loss to have. But since then, he got a fight. He came in the Contender Series again, and he came back against an undefeated fighter in his debut, and he won. You sort of look at that. He's well-rounded. He can finish people either way. Whereas Jacoby, he's more of a striker, you know? I think, off the top of my head, probably Jacoby's getting a little past her. I know we got that good win in his last fight, but I don't really know if Vitor Petrino's as good as maybe people were hyping up today, especially with how he got guillotined by Anthony Smith. So I'm going to go Bruno Lopez, the young eat the old. I think he's going to take out Dustin Jacoby, as much as it hurts to say. Ramiz Brahimaj versus Billy Ray Goff. Ramiz is terrible. He's just bad. I honestly, if he got cut from the UFC, I don't think anyone would be sad. He lost to Themba Gorimbo, lost to Court McGee, Max Griffin in the UFC. I don't even know how he's still here, to be honest. And the guys he's beating, Sasha Paletnikov, Michael Gilmore, Mickey Gall, he's just not good. Yeah, whereas you look at Billy Ray Goff, who's not exactly a world beater, but he's decent. Lost to Trey Waters. Trey Waters is, I think, 6'5". Like, at a point, stuff like that's going to happen. You're just going to get outside. Especially, he should move up, Trey Waters. Anyway. And then bet Yusaku Kinoshita is what it is. I'm picking Billy Ray Goff just based on the fact that I think he's good enough to beat Ramiz Brahimaj. He's above the level, and that level is, anyone who can win a fight in the UFC can probably beat Ramiz Brahimaj. The only guy Brahimaj is beating are guys that aren't in the UFC or retired anymore. Yeah, so I'm going to go Billy Ray Goff, probably by decision. Then we're going to basically the main event. The actual main event still is cool, and it has title implications, I guess, but this is the most interesting fight in the card, like, far and away, not even close. And it's really interesting, man. Gamrot kind of getting screwed over, but at the same time, really good to see some of these guys in the higher part of that lightweight division just take fights. And Klein, he probably deserved a ranked opponent. Did he deserve Gamrot? Probably not. But this could go either really good or really bad for him, because Gamrot, I saw a stat the other day. He's had 10 UFC fights. He's been dropped in half of them. And Klein has, I think, dropped people in 5 of his UFC fights. Klein has power. He has moments of brilliance where you look at his strike and you're like, oh, shit, okay. You're really good. Obviously, Gamrot has that just smothering grappling game. He's always doing something. He's always scrambling. It's a very fun style. I know people call him boring, but his style of grappling is actually very fun. And he put on that war against Tucker. I am going to take a risk, though, and I am going to pick Ludovic Klein. I've seen Gamrot being almost chinned way too many times to like, eventually he's going to go out cold, sort of thing. He's hurt so many people, and his striking's gotten a little better, but I think if he does try and strike with Klein, it's not like that little bit improved striking is going to be able to keep up with Klein, unless Klein has a bad performance like he does sometimes. But I'm not going to bet on him having a bad performance. I'm going to just try and look at this fight at face value. So I'm going to go Ludovic Klein. I'm going to say by, like, very early second round, TKO. I think he'll hurt Gamrot. Gamrot will try wrestling. Klein will shuck him off and then land some more shots, ground and pound, and it'll be all over. Which would be sad for Gamrot, because again, like, he probably deserved, like, he should have probably done a Fiziev matchup, provided Fiziev hadn't have, like, stepped on short notice against a Gaethje. Even though I think they were talking about that fight for the February card. Anyway, main event: Erin Blanchfield, Macy Barber. I think Macy Barber's going to be too big. I think she's going to be too imposing. I think in Erin Blanchfield's last fight, we saw her striking isn't good. And Barber's not phenomenal, but she's good enough, I think, to be able to do some good work on Blanchfield. And Blanchfield's had good performances, but against who? Like Molly McCann? Her Jessica Andrade performance was good. Like, I won't take that away from her. The Talia Santos one was sketchy. Now Talia's off in the B leagues. Rose Namajunas win, that's another good one. But again, it's using the grappling, and I don't think she's going to be able to take down Macy Barber. And this is another one I could be completely wrong. Why is her photo black and white? Is it random? I could be completely wrong. I think they're both reasonably young. Right, you're 27 versus 26, yeah. So, I'm still going to stick with Macy Barber, though. I think she's good. She's on a hell of a win streak right now, even though she hasn't fought in quite a while. Last one coming against Caitlin Sermonara. I'm going to go by Macy Barber by... I don't think TKO, because I think if Fyodor's not KOing you, I don't think Barber will. Though Barber does bring sort of a brutality that Fyodor doesn't when she's trying to, be nice with it and all that. I think I'm still going to go Macy Barber by decision, though. Maybe 3 rounds to 2, 4 rounds to 1. Just kind of bullying Blanchfield around. Blanchfield might win a couple rounds just based off maybe getting a takedown here and there, being on top. Other than that, though, I think it's probably going to be one-way traffic for Barber. Anyway, that was my prediction video. Off the top of my head, hadn't really thought about it much. I don't think many people are for this card. It's not exactly a great one. It's bad, on the poster when they have to put their records on there to try and hype the fight. Luckily, 316 is next week, and that should be better. Anyway, if you enjoyed, like the video, leave a comment, subscribe, or don't. Whatever you prefer. I'll record again at some point. I think I'm enjoying just doing these more sporadically now. So I'll see you guys whenever next time is. Peace.